Well, hello and happy Wednesday. It is wonderful to be here with you. Welcome to today's live level up conversation. Whether you're joining me live or catching me on replay, happy Wednesday. Let's dive right into today's live level up discussion.
Welcome to Level Up with Winnie Sun. Market update. Speed round. Award-winning financial pro. And now, get ready. I present to you Level Up with Winnie Sun.
Hi, friends. I'm Winnie Sun, your host, an award winning financial pro, a Forbes and CNBC contributor, and CNBC council member. And we are streaming here live on many different social media platforms. So it's great to be here with you. Thanks so much for making the time. And I hope that you had a beautiful Memorial Day weekend. It's probably been pretty busy. We're going right into the summer, right? For those of you who are joining me on Modern Mom, I know a lot of the kids are finishing school or have just finished school. So congratulations to you for finishing yet another year. Let's talk about how the market's doing. Joshua's here. Thanks so much for joining us on YouTube Live. Currently, the Dow is down 380 points. Nasdaq's down 53. S&P 500 is down 28. And I'm so grateful to be here with you today. Yeah, it's going great. Thank you so much for asking. It is always a treat to join you live because I have quite a few stories that are trending this week that I don't want to put on your radar. And let's talk about the first one, which I think is going to be some good news. Now, you may have seen and heard and experienced the last few years the effects of inflation. And I know many people have been feeling the pinch on their weekly grocery runs or monthly budgets. I mean, things have just been costing so much. Well, it looks like there's a little bit of a little glimmer of good news because Amazon is actually going to be joining the price war, if you will, the price of massive grocery discounts across the board. So Amazon Fresh is going to be slashing prices on over 4,000 of things that you would normally buy at the grocery store, offering up to 30% off both in store and online. And they're going to be doing weekly rotating discounts to attract more people and those who are really shopping on a budget to go back and shop groceries with Amazon. Now, Amazon isn't the only one. As you know, Walmart started this as well. Target has also been doing this, and many other grocery stores have been doing that as well. Now, I'll be honest with you, I just did a little bit of grocery shopping this weekend, and I didn't quite see that much of a difference in prices yet. So I'm curious to see if you've already been experiencing this, but I feel like there's a little bit more to go. But maybe I'm not doing that careful of shopping, but let me know on the things that you buy on a daily or weekly basis. Have you seen prices calm down? So now, due to high inflation, of course, and stagnant incomes, many consumers like you and I have really become more frugal and really prioritizing just the things that we really need over the like nice to have things, right? It's really more about needs versus wants in a time of high inflation, which has then now affected overall retail sales. Now, retailers are, of course, trying to lower prices to help stimulate consumer spending and get you back to the cash register to buy what you need. But of course, this is really critical because right now inflation is so high and it is affecting many Americans. And consumer spending constitutes about 2/3 of the U.S. economy. So if we don't spend, the U.S. economy also suffers. So it's almost like a cycle effect. So Amazon Fresh plan is to cut prices on a lot of different items, including meat and seafood, frozen food, dairy, things that you drink, snacks, pasta, whole bunch of things on both of their Amazon's private labels as well as national brands as well. And they're also saying that Prime members will be getting an additional 10% discount on many hundreds of online grocery items. They're saying that will help encourage frequent purchases and of course helping those who are Prime members have a little bit more in terms of savings, which I think is key. I mean, you're already paying for Prime membership. you got to get something out of it. Yes, I definitely think that's beneficial. I will say that I just went to one of their grocery stores this past weekend, and I was pleasantly surprised that I did get an additional benefit for being a Prime member. So that was kind of good. So let me know, like, do you do that? Do you shop Amazon for groceries? Do you go to Amazon Fresh? Do you go to one of their other grocery trains? And have you noticed discounts yet? Because they're saying Target has already cut prices on over 1,500 popular items, over 1,000 items, planning to now go all the way to 5,000 different items over the summer to really help on things such as food and household items. And Walmart saying, well, you got 5,000, we've already rolled them on nearly 7,000 items, and we're going to keep on going forward from there. So they're really trying to increase and get customer loyalty, and of course more foot traffic back into their stores. I think this is good news. It's got to start from the beginning, and at the end of the day, people need to eat and support their families, and this is a great place to start. Now let's talk about other changes. And this is another article coming out on The Verge. In fact, Emma Roth is sharing this, talking about PayPal. Now this is sort of on the, not so much on the grocery side, but PayPal is, of course, reinventing themselves also. They're here and they've discussed that they're going to be launching a new ad network, leveraging, get this, probably your data. If you use Venmo, that is, they're going to be leveraging Venmo data. This new ad platform is going to be launching advertising utilizing transaction data from those of you who use Venmo. Now, I will say that I guess Venmo is the sister app to PayPal. I will say that I don't use Venmo, but I know many, many people that do. So this new feature is led by a new executive that used to be part of Uber advertising, now is part of PayPal. And they're going to be collecting data from those transactions that you use. And customers, of course, can opt out, they're saying, but they're saying the platform is still in its early stages, but this will be another way for them to make revenue. But with 6.5 million transactions processed from 427 million customers in first quarter alone this year, PayPal's plan is to help merchants sell, more effectively to all of us by using this sort of scrape data that they have. And they're also bringing on new AI integration. Of course, not new. Most companies are bringing more AI. And they're going to be offering more offers on your platform to see where is it that you spend money? What sort of deals or promotions can they sell to you? And then that way you will spend more money. Now, other companies are, of course, doing this as well. Facebook, for example, JP Morgan Chase, Visa, also using customer spending data for targeted advertising. And really just this is sort of a trend and just other ways that these sort of companies can make money off of us, right? So of course there's been a lot of talk about data privacy, and so there's been concerns about that. But PayPal is saying they're going to be transparent, they're going to make sure that this is user friendly, and we as the consumer we're going to supposedly retain control of what's being shared with us. But yes, so that's what PayPal is doing. That's another way for them to make money. And I'm curious to see how you feel about that. Are you okay with that? Are you okay because you're able to use your platforms maybe in a cost-effective way or maybe free, and in return that they can, send you promotions and send you ads? How do you feel about that? I feel like that's sort of like the trend. Businesses either need to charge you money or you got to pay. Got to pay with your time and your eyeballs on the side of advertising. How do you feel about that? That's almost like back in the day, like old school television. Remember how you would have to deal with commercials every 15 minutes or so? And then now you have streaming, which depending on your plan, you might have minimal or no advertising, but then you're paying a subscription fee. Like, how do you feel about that? So I see CrossX Fighter say, I do not shop on Amazon for groceries. I buy groceries manually in stores. Okay, gotcha. I mean, so I'm curious to see how you feel about that, CrossX Fighter. Have you seen deals at the grocery store yourself? I haven't seen them as much. I see them like bits and pieces, but maybe I'm just buying the wrong items. But I wouldn't think so with a family of five. But anyhow, speaking of all things interesting, spending, and now a little bit of controversy, let's talk about Elon Musk. I mean, there's just so much that he does that does strive for controversy, right? So here's something that I'm curious to see how you feel about this. I'm kind of like, really? Why do you do this? But here's the deal. In a recruiting bid, right, for xAI, which is one of his new enterprises, after a $6 billion investment, this was actually shared on Fortune magazine. Well, Elon is now intensifying his recruitment efforts for his company xAI. And in this AI race, now, of course, that recent $6 billion investment certainly helped valuing this 10-month-old startup. I get this, $24 billion is crazy. So Elon is currently looking for candidates aligned not only with the technology skills, but also, get this, with his political views. So he's prioritizing truth over popularity, or political correctness, is what he's saying. This is as he stated on his social media shares. So, although Elon originally co-founded OpenAI, he left due to management unhappiness, disputes, if you will. So now he's seeking to make a special, different AI called xAI. This is going to be different from competitors like Google's Gemini, and which he says are biased. So he wants to make sure that this is not biased. Now, despite the fact that Grok um, isn't really, I guess, as popular as would have been hoped, investors such as Sequoia, Anderson Horowitz, they said they're interested in backing Elon. And I don't know. So despite many losses from minority investors, this is according Sheridan, this Tesla, this Fortune article, they're saying that, well, even with slowing EV sales, Musk is, of course, pivoting Tesla towards AI. So really, they really, really want to get in on the AI race as well. So this creates potential competition, of course, between Tesla and xAI in terms of his focus, but nonetheless saying that they're going to be really, really gung-ho and actually trying to poach AI executives from many of the key companies. So, yeah, really, really, that's their recruiting stance of trying to steal people from other companies, but also making sure that they have the same political mindset or views as Elon Musk. I thought that was interesting. That's an interesting way to hire. You got to make sure you have my same political views, or I don't hire you. Curious to think how you see about that. Do you think that that's something that you would do if you're Elon? I mean, he can because he can afford to do so. But let's move on to our next story, which is another interesting one, if you will. Today's an interesting day. We got interesting stories, all right? This story is, get this. This story is referencing former President Donald Trump and his desire to reverse the electric vehicle trend. This is shared in the New York Times, talking about former President Donald Trump's vow to dismantle President Biden's electric vehicle policies, and saying that he's threatening with higher tariffs on electric vehicles and claiming that they just don't work. Yeah, I don't know if he's ever driven an electric vehicle because they do work. They're very fast, and what's nice is they're not smelly either. I mean, there's no exhaust fumes, and it's interesting because my youngest son, he's only 10 years old. He loves cars, right? He loves everything about cars. And he told me yesterday, he's like, "Mommy, I'm not a big fan of electric vehicles either." And I had to have a conversation with him about this. Like, why do you not like electric vehicles? And my husband said, ask him why, and he'll tell you. And then so he told me, he's like, the reason I don't like electric vehicles, Mommy, is that because they don't make that nice, loud sound that regular gas vehicles sound. Like race cars, they had that vroom sound. I guess electric vehicles are too quiet. And I said, well, honey, maybe, this might be an opportunity. Maybe there's other people that feel that way. Maybe you could create something, an app or something that could mimic the sounds of race cars and still go electric vehicles. And he thought that was a great idea. So maybe this is something, I don't know. But despite Trump's stance, EV sales have surged with 1.2 million units, in fact, sold last year. And that makes about a little over 7%, 7.6% of new car sales, which is expected to reach 10% this year. So definitely a lot of people are still embracing electric vehicles. Now, of course, President Biden's aim is for 50% of all new vehicles to be electric by the year of 2032. This is a key part of his desire to reduce carbon emissions, sort of the climate change strategy. And of course, the Trump administration is planning that if Trump is elected again for the next election, to roll back a lot of the tailpipe pollution regulations and also change those tax credit rules for electric vehicles, which they said could potentially not only challenge but also slow down EV growth and, of course, challenge the Inflation Reduction Act as well. So now many automakers, including companies such as traditional car makers, such as Ford, are opposing these policy reversals because they said, well, we already have long term plans and investments in place for more electric vehicles. But many states and private companies are still continuing to invest in electric vehicle infrastructure. Which may help mitigate federal policy changes. But for example, Georgia has made significant investments in electric vehicle manufacturing and even battery production in their state. So they're saying if this does take place in a Trump presidency, although it probably wouldn't completely undo all electric vehicles, but it could probably hinder electric vehicle progress and the market momentum, and that's driving a lot of the increase in sales and the adoption of more electric vehicles. So they say probably wouldn't cause it to go away completely, but it would potentially cause it to slow down quite a bit. So let me know how you feel about that. Do you drive an electric vehicle? Do you think it's a good thing? It's a bad thing? Would you rather go back to gas? I don't know, but like my dad used to drive a diesel vehicle back when I was a kid. And those, I mean, like his old car was filthy. I remember he'd have to, have this like it was like a kitchen glove he would use to fill up his car with, and then he would have to take the glove home and wash it, and it was just like really really dirty. And I don't miss the exhaust, I'll be honest with you. I just don't. I mean, yeah, at our house we have one electric vehicle and one gas vehicle, and certainly the electric vehicle is just so much cleaner, or it does feel that way. So curious to see how you feel about that. Let me know your thoughts on that. And let me tell you how the market's doing. Currently, the Dow is down almost 400 points, down 394. Nasdaq is down about 60 points, and the S&P 500 is down about 30 points as well. So do me a favor, hit that like button and subscribe to stay updated on all things business content. And to watch full episodes of Level Up with Winnie Sun, check out NASDAQ, Amazon Fire, Samsung, LG, Roku, and many other streaming platforms. And with that, I hope that you have a wonderful week, and I'll see you again very soon. Take care now. Bye-bye.